The CPU, I chose the Intel Core i5-10400. It's got a 2.9 GHz base frequency and a 4.3 GHz boost frequency. It's also got 6 cores, so it should be good for gaming. I picked mine up for $60 on Facebook Marketplace, but you can find it at other sources too. Now moving on to the motherboard, I had to go with the ASRock Steel Legend V460M. This motherboard does have PCIe 3.0 support, as well as 2933 MHz RAM support, so it should be perfect and fit right into the CPU. You could find similar on eBay. This one is heavily jacked up, so that's why I choose alternates. For installing the CPU, you're just going to want to lift the bracket, and there's going to be an arrow in the bottom left. You're just going to line that up, and then you're going to close the top with the clamshell, and that should be the CPU installed. For RAM, I went with the XLR8 Gaming 3600 MHz RAM. I know it's a little higher than the frequency the CPU and the motherboard support, but it was white and I only got it for like $30 on eBay, so it was pretty much a steal. For alternate, you could go for the Oloy Warhawk. I'm pretty sure it's 38 on Amazon, a little closer. I like to go for used. And now moving on to the SSD, I decided to go for a 128 gigabyte, I think Toshiba NVMe. It's pretty low, but I did have a hard drive laying around, and this only set me back around $9 to $10, so I just had to do it. After taking off the armor, you're going to want to slip it into the slot, and then you're just going to want to screw that right back in. I chose the bottom slot because most 10th gen don't really support the top slot, so I wasn't going to risk it anyway. For cooling, I had to go with the ID Cooling SE214XT on Amazon. It was only $17.99, so once again, that was a pretty easy option. Now, fresh out of the box, it comes with a nice radiator, a top white piece, and it comes with a white ARGB fan, so it fits perfectly with the theme of the build. Next, I'm going to get the mounting backplate, and I removed the 2 stickers already. I like to just do that and place it on there so it doesn't fall off. Some people don't, I do. Next, in the bag is going to have 8 standoffs. If you read the manual, it tells you which standoffs go for which socket, so I chose those. You're going to have these 2 little mounting brackets that go on top, and you're just going to screw those in. Up next is a thermal paste. I chose the Artix MX4 because I don't like the thermal paste that comes in the baggie. When screwing on the cooler, alternate back and forth to apply even pressure and make sure that thermal paste spreads evenly first go. Now I'm going to install the fan, and now the motherboard is ready to be put into the case. I chose the DIY PC ARGB Q3. I got this one used for $30. I like to do everything used to maximize as much profit as I can. This case does come with 3 pre-installed, but because I got it used, the person decided that they wanted to keep the fans even though they have Molex connection. I don't know, so I had to just go with these ARGB fans I had laying around. I'm screwing these in with a drill. I'm doing light pressure, nothing too hard.
So this is the after the fact. So in that computer case, I put it facing forward this way, towards the back. What you want to actually do is make sure it's facing the back side forward so that the air pushes into the computer. Sorry about that little mistake.
Now I'm going to gently set the motherboard into the case. I didn't have the back I/O plate. It didn't come with the motherboard because I got it used in a combo. So I'm just going to have to make do with what I have. There's going to be 6 screws you're going to want to screw in. For certain boards it could be more, but this is M-ATX. Now I'm just going to connect the audio header and the USB headers. Those are usually at the bottom of the motherboard. This is the confusing part with this type of case. This is the F panel, and with this case it doesn't come with an F panel connector, so you have to read your motherboard's manual to figure out which goes where. And then I just plug in the USB 3.0, and that's the I/O setup. Now I'm setting up this cheap little RGB controller I got from a Sama case, and an EVGA 650 watt power supply I got for like $25 on eBay. Screw in all 4 of those, and I'm just routing CPU cable up top, the 24 pin on the side, and the extra connections on the bottom, and I'm just plugging everything in. Onto the hard drive, I'm going to just screw all these in. I picked this one up for $0 off of an Xbox that was broken, so that was a pretty easy choice. Gonna connect the SATA connection and the data connection, which I didn't do there. Screwing in the back of the case. Putting in the graphics card. I went with the FXX RX 580 8GB card. I picked this up for $60 in total from a local meetup. Now you can get this for $60 on eBay. After that, you just plug in the connector and it's on to downloading Windows. I like to go to the Windows website and create an installation media. This is pretty straightforward. After you open it, it's going to ask you a few questions. Terms and conditions, I like to skip all these because I don't really care about reading them. It's going to get a few things ready, and you're going to want to plug in a USB flash drive stick. At least 8 GB. I don't have it because I already had it installed, but after that you hit next and most of the setup is done. Getting into the actual setup, I have a Linsky's WUSB USB Wi-Fi stick. I chose that because I already had it laying around. And next you're going to want to get your install of Windows and plug that into any USB port on the computer. I typically go for the back I/O because I believe the top I/O is slow. I don't know, I have a weird preference. And you're going to get into BIOS. I like to spam the F2 key instead of holding it down. It's another preference of mine. So inside of BIOS, you're going to want to enable TPM. Lots of Intel motherboards don't really have TPM. This is for the older ones. The newer ones I'm pretty sure have TPM for Windows 11 support. But it's going to be called Intel Trust or Intel Platform Trust Technology in the BIOS. And when you leave the BIOS, you're going to want to boot from the USB stick you already have. So with TPM, it should be much more compatible for Windows, and that'll just make it a lot easier because a lot of the times it will not work if you don't have TPM enabled. Getting into Windows, I like to just choose Windows Home because this is for gaming. I'm not doing anything too high up there, so I'm already, I'm trying to keep the price low. I don't have a product key at the moment. I did buy one later on from a third-party website for like $10. It's just easier that way. After that, there's some more terms you just don't look at, and then you're gonna install Windows only. This part takes a pretty decent amount of time. I like to install Windows on the SSD, and then I leave the hard drive for other storage additions. So getting into Windows after setting everything up, the updates took an atrocious amount of time. It took me like 50 minutes to just scroll through TikTok the entire time. And there's the install of Windows. I like to install Furmark as a sort of heat benchmark. Some people use it for a benchmark of performance. I just use it to test thermals, make sure the computer doesn't explode when opening a single instance of Minesweeper. Now I do a little performance test and see the results. With this computer, it's a good desktop, and it's like midway for gaming, so it'll play stuff at medium settings. Now getting into Fortnite, I like to test it with Fortnite. I haven't built since like 2022, so you're going to see some horrendous edits here and some old building style. I like to play zero build because I'm too scared to face actual players, so that's what you're seeing here. And with that, the computer's done. So in total for this computer, I only paid $262.99 to build it, and I sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $450 only a couple days later for a profit of $187. I'm showing around 420 here. That's because I went on Uber Eats and bought a single burger for $30. And that's it. I don't know. Bye.